Check, check. Check, check, check.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Parks and Environment Committee to order. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a committee meeting tonight. Thank you for being here. The purpose of these meetings is to hear information from staff, applicants, and citizens, and then make a recommendation to the City Council. For each agenda item, staff will first present the items. The committee and elected officials will have a chance to ask questions, and then the public will have an opportunity to make a statement. Any action taken tonight in committee meetings will be advisory only and appear as a recommendation at the City Council meetings, in which the entire City Council will have an opportunity to vote on the matter. We want to hear what everyone has to say, but we ask that all rules of procedure are followed. Anyone who wishes to speak must step up to the microphone. You will have up to 5 minutes to make your statement. Please direct your comments to the committee on the dais and not to individual members of the committee, staff, or anyone else in attendance. We look forward to hearing from you. Okay. Let's see. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Yes, sir. Chair Albrecht.
Here.
Vice Chair Carney.
Here.
Mr. Monroe. Mr. Mylart.
Here.
Mr. Hudson.
Here.
Ms. Stoney.
Here.
Sir, we have a quorum.
Okay. Next item is the approval of the minutes of October 9th.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, it looks like there's no items requiring council action, so we'll move right on to 3.1. Andrew?
Yep. Yes, sir. 3.1 is just our CIP update for the 2024. It's actually through 2029. I can already see a typo right there, but this is the CIP for the next 5 years. I'll just kind of go down the list. Many of these items for the next year you are already familiar with. We've talked about them for over a year now, but we did put them on the list just to make sure we had them in writing as far as the community park enhancement project, the indoor athletic or the indoor activity center, the event space. So a lot of those things that occupy this list are at the top. But some of the ones you might not be familiar with that I think we want to go over is the trail multi-use bike plan. And this is a $125,000 we put in every year just to maintain our trails throughout town, add new trails if we find one that will fit. So it's an ongoing thing, but it is in there, and it's probably only a second year or maybe third year we're doing it, so that's in there. We have to do some mower replacement. That Toro 4000 area-wide mower is that right there. It's actually our ball field replacement mower. We have one right now, and this is a specific mower that we use to cut our grass in our outfields on the primarily grass in the outfields of the sports park baseball field. So it's just getting up there in hours, and so we'll trade the old one in and get a new one, and we will use a trade-in value on that. So, directional signs at Hesse Park. This year we had, I think, $12,000 in the budget this year, and so this $10,000 is a continuation of what we're doing out there. It is an educational sign program that spells out the wildlife out there, different species, different pollinator plots that we have out there. So it's just an educational signage that we're doing throughout parks. Again, this is one of our staff favorites that they've really taken a liking to as far as Rock Springs Park and the conservation that surrounds that park. those are the big ones. And then moving forward, we still have some vehicle replacements that we have to do. The F-250 right there is one that's typically on the state bid. I will let you know that it's hard to get these vehicles because there's no vehicles on the state bid right now, but we do need to replace our trucks on an ongoing basis, and so we budget for them accordingly. But don't be surprised if those don't come on the state bid next year and we have to continually play catch up to try and keep our vehicles up to date, but we do have that on there. Year-round restrooms in Community Park. Again, this has been on the schedule for a couple years now, just to winterize those bathrooms and insulate them so we can keep them open year-round. But we'll incorporate this into the Community Park project, so that is on there as well. And then moving forward past this year, things we've talked about, the field house is still on there for 4 or 5 years down the road. We don't have a funding source for it, but it has been a topic of conversation about what we're going to do at the sports park, and so that field house is still on there. As Walter said in our last meeting, that we will be doing maybe a mini update to the sports park master plan. We just completed our master plan in 2021, but there's been some requests to take a harder look at what we did for the sports park. So I think we'll do a mini update on just specifically the sports park, not next year, not this year, but the next year. Parks vehicles, batting cages, those types of things that we just typically always replace. Rock Springs, Rotary Park, we still have plans for a new bike playground out there. It's one of those pump track types of playgrounds that we'd like to do in the back to try and give the mountain bikers someplace local to go. Lights for fields 4 and 5 in Community Park. There's a couple more down. This is one that is kind of a placeholder right now. We put it in here a couple years ago. This was pre-Community Park project. This will likely go away once the whole 4 and 5 fields shake out, but we did leave it in there for next year just to have it in there, just to give us some flexibility on if it's something we still want to move forward with. And then the typical playground replacements at Tolman Park, that's getting to be 20 years old, as well as Hesse Park is on here as well. So just typical playground replacements that we will judge on a year-by-year basis to see how the conditions are holding up. The southwest corner of the sports park is still on there for 2 more years down the road. That's the lake and some additional trails. And that was part of the master plan, and it was part of the original master plan. So that $1.4 million would just get us the lake and some trails in that southwest corner. So solar pathway lighting just to light up, again, the southwest corner of the trail. It gets really dark for anybody who's out there this time of night. And so we would like to light up the trail with some solar lighting. So a couple other highlights. The turf soccer fields on 9 and 10 in 2026. That's just to continue on with our the building of the sports park. On those 9 and 10, which is on the north side of the park, we would like to make those multi-use, and so there's a trend going on right now where soccer fields and baseball fields are basically combined into an area. So we would line the corners out of the sports park as baseball fields and then use them both ways. So we wouldn't necessarily do higher age groups on there or extremely competitive games on those baseball fields, but they would serve as the 8, 9, 10-year-old fields, and then they would also serve as practice fields for the soccer teams as well. So again, I think that's next 2026 budget year. And then finally, looks like we have the splash pad playground surfacing replacement. That's just an annual replacement. The turf that's out there now has been ripped. We've repaired it, ripped again, we've repaired it. So we've reached the point where we're going to have to get that fixed. We're hopeful we can make it to 2026, but in all likelihood, this might be moved up to next budget year, depending on funding. So. Okay, that was a quick overview. Any questions on our CIP projects?
Yeah, Andrew, I have one. The grant for that came out of the Parks Grants Commission was for $50,000, but the project was for $145,000, and I don't see anything in here that I could point to.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that was in this year's budget, and so this is budget year moving forward. So we had $100,000 in this year's operating budget to fund the fitness equipment, and then we got the grant for 50. So we put those two together to
Okay.
do that fitness equipment.
So, but that doesn't show for next year, right? Because it's this year?
It would be in this budget year, right? So we're in FY '24, and this starts FY '25. And then Mr. Carney had asked about the additional parking at the sports park. That is on here as well. I think we have, we've already talked about adding parking north of the new baseball fields, but then we also have additional parking planned out for basically as you're going through the boulevard. We have a couple of options there. And again, both those parkings were in the sports park master plan originally and the update. So we will move forward with that parking in 2027, 2028, somewhere in there. And anybody's been out to the sports park on a busy weekend, when you see people parking on the boulevards and they're parking, it's kind of crazy. So we do need to get serious about some additional parking. And so the parking that we have planned for next year and the years to come will be greatly needed.
Does that include an entrance off, a third entrance to the park?
The one
Fourth,
that will
actually.
be in next budget year from the Build a Fallon Trust Fund will include a new entrance,
Yeah,
correct?
part way up, whether it's a stub street in there already or a break in the, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? You guys? Okay, Jim?
Have we looked at permeable parking, type stuff, the stuff that gets driven into the ground and grass goes up through it?
So we've looked at that in Community Park on Field 3 where we park for City Fest. A lot of that area gets pretty seriously degraded when it rains and when City Fest comes. So we have looked at it for that area up there. The problem with that area is there's a lot of activity that happens there as far as the cross-country teams are always there. So when they're in the grass and they're stretching, we don't want to do the whole area. So, that is one of those things we've looked at, and that would be an area, if we can peg it out so it doesn't interfere with programming that we would do up there.
My concern is that we're creating more and more impermeable surface in our parks. That's gonna add to the runoff problem that we already have. Just curious about how hard we're looking at that, to kind of hold some of that problem at bay.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And I would say that the main topic of our conversations in our construction meeting is with the civil engineers and trying to address any kind of drainage issue that we have now, plus future drainage. So it is something we talk about pretty regularly.
Is there a substantial cost difference from putting in permeable parking to traditional blacktop and gravel?
Yeah, I haven't run the calculation on the actual cost. I would guess that putting in concrete would be pretty significantly cheaper versus the manual labor of having to place those bricks and then plant it, plus the maintenance of it. You can't really aerate around those areas. So I think there's something to be said for the maintenance cost between concrete and putting in those permeable pavers.
I was just going to say, we have what's nice with the ponds and lakes there, where a lot of the runoff from the parking lots now goes to, right, to catch during
At the sports
storms?
park or at community park?
Or I'm talking about the sports park.
Yeah.
And then community park, is that what you're referring to, Jim?
Yeah, community parking is the bigger problem.
Right, yep.
So one of the things, as we were talking about, we're trying to do some drainage swales around the building, which will catch a lot of that water as well and slow the absorption into the water, into the ground.
So we've talked about the north side of the sports park parking that was kicked down the road at last year's from the Build a Fallon Trust Fund. Is that in 2025 and not 2024?
It's not in FY '24, what we're in right now. We'll do that for the FY '25 budget.
I thought that last year we had decided that that was going to be in next year.
We're in 2024.
Okay,
So then
all
it
right.
is for next year.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
It's the when the budget year ends, that's the year. I knew that.
I do have a question. Am I missing it up there, or when you mentioned the mini update to the sports park, you said 2026, or when is the?
For the master plan?
The master plan, the
I
mini?
don't think we're going to do it in FY '25. We would likely do it in FY '26.
Okay, all right.
But again, we haven't shook that out yet, so we'll get more defined when it comes to the budget time.
Excuse me. I have a question about the 12 million in there for the community park enhancement project. That's just a swag since we don't have any real cost for the things that are gonna go in there.
You're correct. We're still finalizing the plans and getting our final cost estimate. So that hasn't quite shooken out yet, so it's a placeholder right now.
So it could be more or less.
Well, again, when you add up all of these things, like the building might be like 9.1, and then the slide will make it 10.1. So we haven't shooken those all out yet.
The building being the,
The pool, the buildings, the locker rooms, the
oh,
pump
but
house, yeah.
that's bonded. That's not in here, is it?
That would be part of that community park enhancement project.
Okay. I'm concerned about the other parts of it, besides the pool.
Sure. So we'll come back to that in a later date, and once we have it all finalized, you might find that it's in the finance committee meeting as well. So those are ongoing discussions that we're having.
Okay. Any public comment? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously we've been talking about this for a year, but every month I just like to give you an update to show you where we're at and what we've come up with and what we're finalizing. So let's just kind of get right into it. Obviously, this is a map of Community Park, and I like to start with this map just so everyone gets a lay of the land where the Caven Center is versus the pool and all that stuff. So again, we did this last month. This is the concept, and you can see where the new pool is going to go, the activity center and all that. So the latest facility design is right here, and a couple things I'd like to point out is, one, you can see the slides there are on the west side. We've bumped them out from the entire complexes, putting them in. We have the entrances adjacent to the entrance to the activity pool, so you can see how our final placement is going to go with that particular project. And again, as of right now, it's a dual slide, just kind of like you've seen and approved in previous meetings. We also have up here, which used to be the splash pad, is now an area where we have our party pavilion, which has always been there, but it's been a little more pronounced. So this is a pavilion for birthday parties or rentals or whatever people decide to do with it. And then a little eating area for the concession stand as well. Now, No. This is inside the pool. So right now, you can see where the pool's right here. So I've just exploded this section up so you can see the latest in this section right here. So this is the building. This is the party room with about 80 people seated right here. Again, the outdoor party room, pavilion, just, again, someplace to have birthday parties or whatever. And then the splash pad, which used to be up here, what we were able to do is we're going to incorporate the splash pad into the pool and still have all those features that we had in the splash pad. We're just going to have it in the upper section of the pool right now. And that did a couple of things. One, it saved us about $400,000 by incorporating it into the larger pool versus having it on its own. So that saved us quite a bit of money. And then it also was just kind of a segue into the pool as well. So we felt like that was a good option. So, and I don't think anything else from this has just changed. Just want to highlight that we did what we did with the splash pad. We moved it and we added the slides. And to give you an idea, just to show you what a splash pad would look like, this is conceptual, but you can see in the lower zero depth entry of the pool, we'd have different features that squirt water or little trees or play tables for kids to play on. It's really designed for those really tiny kids, the 18-month-olds to whatever, to just walk around in 3 or 4 inches of water, 5, 6 inches of water, depending on where they're at, and have the bubblers up here. So again, just kind of wanted to show you what that could look like.
This will be inside the pool area, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, on the very, very tip of the zero depth entry. Okay, I wanted to also update you on the plaza area, just so you could get the latest on the plaza. So this is the latest concept that we're finalizing, and you can see the Caven Center currently is up here where the parking lot is. So this is 5th Street going through here, currently 5th Street. So what we've done is just define this plaza area a little bit more. This right here is that big sycamore tree that is what we call a sacred tree. So we've roped out and mapped out a do not cross line on the sycamore tree, so we maintain it. And then the activity center will be right here. Again, this is the same placement you've seen before. Those 3 pavilions are still there. We've changed this area, so you can see that in that old restroom area that's still there, there's a service window there that we really want to make part of the plaza area. So now we can serve out of that kitchen, will be replaced by that serving window down there, and the ice machine and 3-bay sink will be moved into there. And then you can see it's just all those picnic tables that were typically over in this area will now be in this area right here. A grassy area just to kind of break up the concrete and reduce some costs. And then just access into the large pavilion that's currently there, so we're not moving that. So wanted to give you the latest on that. And again, there's sidewalks all connecting everything, so this will all be connected via to the amphitheater with all accessible pathways.
The building that's the smaller one of the buildings, that one, is that the current restroom?
It is.
And is the cost of rehabilitating that's on the CIP, right?
That was that
Okay,
$40,000.
so that won't be in the cost of this community plan.
So we're gonna try and incorporate it because it will take some architecture and it will take some construction to do it
But I
as
mean,
well, so.
where are you paying for it?
Well, the bulk of the money will come from just like Sandy said in the finance committee, some of it will come from the Parks Capital Reserve, some will come from Parks Reserve, and some of it will come from General Fund Reserve, as well as other funds.
Is that gonna be included in the bond?
Well, no, the only thing included in the bond is the 8.5 for the pool.
I think we gotta be really careful here. We're getting things mixed up about what's coming out of different funding sources. So we wanna make sure that we do this right.
Sure.
Okay,
And I think we can probably revisit that either in the next Parks and Environment meeting, or if Sandy wants to take it on in the next Finance Committee meeting, we could probably do that as well, if you want to revisit that.
okay. You all done?
Yep, any other questions?
Okay, anybody have any comments or questions?
You said in that little building, you're putting the ice machine in there, you're putting a kitchen in there too?
There's
Is
not,
that-
in the outdoor kitchen right now is just a 3-bay sink and the ice machine, and so we'll move those 2 items over to that area. And again, there's already a service window on that building, so we'll just utilize it more as we did the old kitchen, and just people could rent it or serve it out of it, or vice versa, whatever they choose to do.
Okay, go back to the other page where the amphitheater is. One more.
The amphitheater, this one?
There, restrooms to use for the amphitheater, is that in between those 2 buildings? Is that what that is?
Yeah, great question. So the reason we like this setup is it's multi-use. So there's gates between right here and right here. So when the pool is closed, you would lock these gates, and then the entire restroom facility that is utilized for the pool can be utilized for the event space. So any kind of events that are not taking place when the pool is open can be utilized here. There are also restrooms right here that can be utilized for park goers or whatever when the pool is in operation. As well as they'll have restrooms on the outdoor activity center.
Do you have concession stands when the amphitheater is open?
Yeah, so this concession stand is placed right here because it's gonna be dual purpose. There'll be a window right here to serve park goers, so if you're at the new playground and you wanna come over for a drink or a muffin, you could walk over to the area, grab your muffin from the concession window, sit in the plaza area and have it, and also serve the pool as well, so it's dual purpose.
Mary Jean Hutchison, O'Fallon. Okay, a few questions. Not quite sure where I want to start at, but a little bit on the capital plan is, if parking is so crucial, why are we putting it off until '26? It seems like that's come up for several years. It's been on the plan for a number of years that, you know, the going through the boulevard on the parkway through the park, there's 2 sections laid out there that are ready to go, even before you do the north section. It's something that, you know, if it's just crucial if you want to serve your customers. So, you know, I'm not sure why that's not priority. I also question the lighting on fields 9 and 10 at the sports park before you do the turf. You know, cost effective, do it all at the same time. Don't do the lights and then do the turf. A lot of times you do the turf and then do the lights, but you kind of got those turned around. Don't see anything in here for pickleball. I know there's supposed to be something happening FY23 that didn't. Now we're in FY24. What's the status?
I think the FY24, the Hesse Park renovation was done and it was funded in FY24.
Okay, that's fine, but that takes it up to 6 or 8. I'm not sure exactly how many you're putting in. Edwardsville has 12. They're building 12 more. You know, there's nothing planned out here in this capital plan for the #1 growth sport in the country. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, a few questions on the pool is that I am presuming that the facility, the restroom facility on the pool shot, Andrew, if you want to go back to the pool, that the entrance building, that has been downsized now since you're building this rec and you don't have as many offices in there, because it doesn't look like the same configuration when I look at the top building where you come in. Because if you're going to build something to replace the Caven Center with offices and stuff, you don't need both. You still need to plan for the future, but something to think about. Not sure about not segregating that splash areas for small children, because now you have them in the large pool, And they can do some barrier type things, but when you're in a separate splash pad, there's more control to have them off. So it's kind of a shame that's happened. You have to think about when you look at this configuration and the lap pool, if you're not going to be truly a swim team pool, which you are not with 6 lanes, then why do this? Why do this for 5 swim meets a year? It is something that needs to be thought about. The restroom and onto the park thing, I'm almost done. I see it doesn't make a lot of sense to renovate that. Just build on or move it over and knock that old building down. And then my last thing is, have you talked to the neighbors? Because this is not a site for an amphitheater. You better walk it, you better talk to all the neighbors, you better send them letters, because if I lived there, I wouldn't be happy with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Vern Moyer, Ward 3. Could you put your picture on the first one, I think? Back one more. Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm opposed to this completely, okay? It's ridiculous. You're just wasting for only 3 months out of the year, you're gonna spend all this money. And I'm surprised there ain't other people ever complaining about it. I can't believe I'm the only one. Really, seriously, where are you at, people? 2, if you're gonna do this, why are you putting that row of trees in there? They're on the east side, or whatever you wanna call it. Okay, that's Hildegard right there with that row of trees on, because you're you're wiping out completely the tractors, am I correct?
I don't think I know what exactly you're talking about as far as row of trees.
The green trees you got the right of way right there next to the swimming pool and whatever. What do you need those for?
Right here?
Where?
Well, I don't think I understand which trees you're talking about.
Those are fine. Those are existing. The other ones aren't, correct?
These are, again, this is a rendering, but we will plant trees there for sure.
Why don't you, if you're gonna put this, why don't you just shift all that stuff over? You won't have to put those trees there, because you have existing row of trees, and you'll have the whole use of that, where the 2 baseball diamonds and a track used to be at. Just shift it over if you're gonna do it. That would give you more space there. My other question is, where's your interest into the swimming pool? Your entrance in where people are going to come in and go into the pool? In that first building?
Yeah, I mean, this is a straight shot right into the area.
Okay, they're going to go into the building. Do you have a place, do you have a locker room or something like that? Where's that at?
This is the locker room.
Okay, so that's going to be available also restroom-wise when you have your amphitheater open for your amphitheater?
Yes.
Okay.
Potentially, depending on the timing, but yeah, of course.
I'm just wondering, people using the restrooms plus the lockers and everything else, or where you supposedly change clothes and whatever. I don't know. You might be opening up another can of worms. Anyway. And then you got the splash pad and all this other stuff. Now, are you going to put a magic wall up between that little room that we got all those circles at? Is that going to have carpeting on the floor?
There'll be a tile on the floor.
No carpeting.
No carpeting.
Do you plan on maybe kids wandering in there with wet feet or wet suits or whatever? That's a possibility.
It is.
I just, and then, okay, flip over to the park, if you could, next page, I guess. Yeah, there. Those, all that squares, what is that? Pavers?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's called out as concrete, so that will be some form of hardscape. Again, we haven't gotten to that part yet, but we're working on it.
So you're gonna pour some concrete in the summer, in heat, build up off of that. Okay, that's interesting, another hot spot. I totally, oh, then the other one is, we're gonna have a tremendous tongue stuck out there where you come in on Fifth Street, you got down, go all the way around that tongue and go around and get out, is that correct?
Yeah, so the idea is to not have a dragway right through the middle of the park. So by breaking it up with that tongue, you're telling people that you're not entering Fifth Street anymore, you're entering the parking lot to the park. So the mindset is gonna be changed from dragway, where some kid's gonna get hit, to you're entering a park now.
Okay. All right. Thank you much for your time. I'll have other comments on other stuff that's coming up.
Any other comments about the update? Of this are, kind of up in the air still. We're working on it, and we'll talk about in future committee meetings and in finance committee and so forth. So, this is not cast in concrete. The concrete's being mixed. It's not poured yet. So anyway, we appreciate the comments that you've added. My concern, which is slightly ameliorated by the change in the design, is the parking. We're going to attract a lot of people to something that we don't have a place for them to park. And I think that's going to be a real problem downstream. I'm not going to be here 15, 20 years from now, but there's going to be folks sitting here, and they're going to have to answer the question, what were you guys thinking? You guys thinking, not me. Okay? So got to be thinking about what this is going to be like when it's done. Okay? Item 3 was
Actually, can I ask Andrew a question real quick? Because you mentioned about how not all of this is finalized, but I wanted, Andrew, could you talk about the timeline for the pool? Because that will be going soon for review, correct?
Yeah, so the pool, in order to stay on schedule and open by summer of 2025, is farther along than the event space and the plaza and the activity center is. So right now, the pool we're nearing completion of the design of the pool, and then it'll have to go to the Illinois Department of Public Health. And that could be a lengthy process. So the pool is farther along, and we're gonna go to IDPH in December for review of the pool. This picture right here will go to IDPH in December for review. And that, again, that could take, 1 to 2 months, if not more.
that includes the replacement office building, right?
The activity center?
No.
The
Everything
pool
that's-
project.
So-
Everything that's on that picture.
Yeah, so our
Everything
office,
that's on that
office
picture.
buildings will
Okay.
move here. Again, pool, lifeguard area, manager's office, entry gate, concession area, that's all part of the pool, party area, that's all part of the pool. That will be part of the submission to IDPH.
But that's, when we let the contract for construction of the pool, that picture right there is what we're gonna get.
As of right now, yes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify, yes, in terms of the replacement of the Caven Center, that activity center, and the plaza area, and the parking lot, all of that is still yet to be considered by the city council, and the city council will have an opportunity to comment on those things
Okay.
and how that looks. But I just wanted to clarify that for the pool, that is going to review next month. So-
That's the physical part of the pool, the thing we put water in,
The pool, the buildings, everything.
Everything.
in this
and,
picture.
and the restroom building,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But not the Caven's replacement. The amphitheater actually is not really part of the pool design, but so this picture is pretty well finalized for what's going to review by ADPH, and then what will go out for bid in the spring.
And the plan is to keep the current pool open till this one's done.
Correct.
Correct. So the current pool will stay open next summer.
So if it slips a bit,
Well, what do you mean if it slips a bit? I mean, we'll demo the pool next September.
yeah. Okay,
So it slips a bit, then then you're not opening the pool in Memorial Day weekend of 2025, which has further implications. So we don't want to get too far behind or make any more changes, because that's going to delay the IDPH submission, which delay the opening of the pool, which means the pool won't be open for summer of 2025, which is what we want to avoid.
did you have anything on the staff and maintenance that you wanted to highlight?
Nope, just our normal staff and Parks and Rec reports.
Boy, there was a mob out there 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, it's been crazy there, that's for sure.
Okay. So, we have public comments now. Anybody want to make?
I didn't get a chance to, I mean, I just noticed another question. So the picture you had up there, all that in that picture, not counting the amphitheater, whatever, just around that area, is what you're proposing right now, and that's 12 mil, right?
I don't want to quote any pricing, just.
Okay, that's
but
your
yeah,
ballpark right now.
yeah.
Your ballpark may get expanded, okay? You're not even in the ballpark, in my book, but you're proposing that for 12 million, give or take. Okay, that's fine, that's all I needed. Page 2. I got a question about the cemetery and those columbarium things you got out there to put people in. You have 2 of them there now, and what's the plan of attack for putting the rest of them in?
As we sell the niches in the columbarium, then we will add more.
To a total of
There's a total of 8.
8 columbariums that's going to be put in there. And how long you think that is going to take?
I have no idea.
And till those are in, you're not even considering putting on the cover for there, right?
Well, you can't put on the cover because you need to use a crane to lift the columbarium to the
I
plate.
understand that. That's not a big deal. I'm just saying, all this time is going to go by the wayside until you sell the other 6.
Yes.
Tick-tock, right?
Yep.
Until then, you put the roof on top over all of that, correct?
Correct.
Give me a ballpark. 5 years? 10 years?
I don't really know. I mean, you're asking me how fast how fast we're
How
going to
fast
sell
people
those
die? Well, don't
And I
worry,
don't
I'm
know
not going to be
that.
going up there.
I mean,
I got other spots to go to.
we sell, there's like 30 to 40 graves per year that we sell. So
Okay.
if every single person purchased a columbarium, then you would sell them out in 2 years.
I know, just give me your best guess. 5 years?
I mean, like 8 years.
Okay, fine, 8 years, so we gotta wait 8 years to see, 8 years. I'll probably be dead in 8 years. But I sure would like to see the canopy over Jesus. And the reason I'm saying that is because, and then maybe another 8 years go by, you have to reconsider what you need to do to the Jesus statue there. It is in, I would say right now, need of needs a little facelift, needs a little TLC. Have you considered that?
We have.
I think putting it off 8 years may be a little far down the road to take care of Jesus.
Well, I mean, Jesus will be taken care of when Jesus needs to be taken care of.
So it's somewhere in some money somewhere that you're going to take care of it then.
Potentially. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't see any money on the books for it anywhere.
Again, I don't know when Jesus is going to go down.
I'm just saying, you need to protect it, I mean, 8 years down the road, I'm not going to be around here. I don't really care. I'm just saying, you need to, other people wanted those prime spots to be buried there because of the fact that the statue was there.
Yeah,
I think you need to consider taking care of that statue.
I don't think Jesus and the pavilion are the same project. Like, I don't have to wait 8 years to take care of Jesus. If he needs,
No, you're
If he
telling
needs-
me to sell all the rest of those other ones, it's gonna take you time. I don't know why you just don't buy 6 of them, put them in and be done with it. And they put the roof on it, bang, buckle it up, and you're done, you know?
yeah, I
Rather
mean,
than 8 years, maybe in 2.
there is an expense to this that has to be budgeted for. So if money was no object, we would have done it already, but we do have to
I
wait
was
for-
told you already sold 2 of them. So why can't you go out and buy 2 more now?
Well, there's only two of them sold.
2
There's,
spots?
I think the roof thing goes over 4 of them, right?
no, the roof can't go on
covers the
until
whole
all of
9
them are
yards.
in.
All 8 are done?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 4 and 4. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's interesting.
If you can forecast that, there's a bunch of insurance guys that like to talk to you. Okay, any other comments? Okay. You guys have anything else? How about a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Anybody want to stick around? Okay, community development in 3 minutes. I thought you were in Florida.
No.
You fake those pictures
What pictures?
on your Facebook page?
No, I wasn't in Florida. I was in St. Charles. That's not Florida. I was on a trade show in Missouri for the weekend. Yeah.
There's a beach in Missouri that doesn't have mud?
No, where did you see a beach picture? Maybe you saw an old picture. I go to Florida tomorrow, and then we have a work trip tomorrow. It's, yeah, this whole month. I feel like I'm here for like 5 days.
They've,
between-
they've got this park thing so dicked up.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this community development with this new neighborhood thing with the Starbucks?
It's all screwed up.
Yeah, like is the Starbucks not going to go there now, and then it's going to try to build houses now that we've already rejected houses and apartments?
I don't know. Yeah, this thing here, yeah, I don't know what it is. It may be that they've closed on the property. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because like when I was reading in the news, though, it said like.
All right, I have 6:18. We're going to call the Community Development Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Albrecht.
Yes.
Parchman. Campbell. Yes. Vorse.
Here.
Small here.
Here.
Roach.
Here.
All right, you have quorum, sir.
Thank you. All right, first up, 1.3, approval of minutes from our October 9th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes approved. All right, first item, 2.1, a special event permit request for Crusaders of St. Jude Christmas Tree Lot.
Yes, so you guys are seeing this. Normally, this is one that is just approved administratively after we noticed you guys, but they have to move locations this year. Gators is staying open during the winter this year, and so they've had to find a new spot, and they've landed at 200 South Lincoln, which is right across the street at the old bank building. They are hosting this from November 24th through December 23rd. The hours basically range from on Saturdays 10 to 5, Sundays 12 to 5, and Monday through Friday 5 to 8. They will just be taking up the northern portion of the site next to the bank, and then they'll leave that parking area open to the south along 3rd Street. So other than that, they just have 2 different signs that they're going to ask to put up along South Lincoln. So all the departments have recommended approval of this, and so we're recommending approval subject to if there's any issues with weather.
Any questions from the committee? Council? Oh, go ahead.
Have we thought about the impact on the parking on the Christmas activities and the Vine Street?
Yeah, so I mean, they'll take up about probably, I think there's like 12 spaces there.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a massive area.
Okay. Any,
So if it's 12 spaces, they usually have 6 to 8 people there. Are they going to be taking the people working it? Are they going to be competing for parking there? And then also, they usually have open burns when they do that. Are they going to be allowed to do that?
So they don't show any open burns on this. It wasn't a part of their application at this location.
So no fire pits, anything like that's going to be
Right, yeah,
spelled out to them?
That was not included initially in their
Okay.
application. So that's not included. And then the parking, I mean, it's technically now that it's in different ownership, it's in a private, this is a private lot in all reality. They would have access to the bank. The property owner of the bank has given them the ability to go here.
any other questions, council? Public? All right, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Vorse,
Yes.
Smallhair,
Yes.
Roach.
Yes.
All right, so this will move on to city council on November 20th.
All right, thank you. And 2.2, resolution for a minor subdivision of land to be known as Southview Plaza Plot 1.
Yes. So we are nearing completion of the initial phase for Southview Plaza, which is the Starbucks development. And one of the things that they are needing to do is create a lot for that. And so what they are looking to do is create a lot 1, which would be the Starbucks lot, which is approximately 1.3 acres. And then for future development, there'd be about 3.64 acres still remaining. I just wanted to show you guys this. I know it's gone through some different reiterations, but this is the final site to design that was signed off by IDOT and Public Works and Community Development just this morning. So we are recommending approval of the minor subdivision. If you have any questions, be happy to answer those.
All right, any questions from the committee? Council?
Yes. Justin, what did IDOT come back with? They're not making them do any type of redesign like they made the Recplex, because that intersection needs a lot of work.
Yeah, so they approved the traffic study that was approved by the city council as well. And they have to do a little bit of additional work to that entrance that's shared between the financial Bank of O'Fallon, they have to actually make that into a right-in, right-out, not just signed right-in, right-out. So you'll see some of that work done as well. Well, there would be one at basically at the McDonald's. Yeah, sorry. It'd be at the very far, right by McDonald's.
Were you asking if they're going to create a turn lane or just
So
if there
that-
was an entrance?
That has a bi-directional turn lane right there.
That one by, next to McDonald's, not the McDonald's drive, but that next curved break to the west will still be there.
No. This is right next to McDonald's.
This is the entrance that's there.
There are actually two curb breaks there. The first one goes into McDonald's, and that's where everybody that goes back to the Ace Hardware turns in. But the one that goes back on where our homeless friend had his encampment.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so that one will still be there.
That's what the main entrance is
yeah, that's
for
the main
this right here. That's that main entrance that goes back to the Plaza Liquors and the Ace Hardware, right there.
There's two.
McDonald's.
There are
Correct.
two.
Yes. The
Okay.
McDonald's will stay, and then the other one that's right next to it, that is what that main
Okay,
access is.
okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Correct.
Well, there's a left turn center lane. Yeah.
There's no dedicated right turn lane.
Correct. No. There'd be a right-in. So on the west side of the lot where there's a existing right-in, right-out, right next to the bank, that will stay a right-in, right-out. But they have to do improvements to that intersection to make it act fully like a right-in, right-out. Because right now it's just signed. You could actually turn left into there. They're gonna build they call them like a pork chop island in the middle there.
And how many cars can stack in this
It's
configuration?
over 20. So, and that's upgraded from an IDOT new standard that when they've got these types of drive-through facilities, they want 20 stacking spaces. The
Around.
drive-through goes around the parking now. Yep.
So as I look at this, I see the driveway at the southern end of the development. Does that open on to South Lincoln?
That's where the existing access to South Lincoln is today. And then it'll continue over to provide access to the other Southview Plaza Retail Center and Ace Hardware.
Okay.
And then I just picked this portion of it. The entire rest of the site, other than where there's access needed over to the other side of Southview Plaza, that is all being removed and grass going back in. That's lot 2, right? Yep. So there is on the southern part, there's some access easements that still have to remain with pavement because they do provide the interconnectivity to the Ace Hardware and other Southview Plaza strip center.
Yeah, Ross?
Just to be clear, if somebody wanted to take a left onto Lincoln, where you said there would still have to be roadway to like Ace Hardware and all, they could go around and out that way. So right in, right out on the north entrance on Lincoln, but they could still go left on the south.
No, it's right in, right out on Highway 50.
Okay.
It's
So
full access on Lincoln.
both
Both north
the
and
north,
south,
okay.
yes. We're not touching anything on Lincoln with this project for very specific reasons.
Any other questions from the council? Public? Yes, sir.
I just want to ask Steve, you say right in, right out on the first exit. Is the second one going to be right in, right out also?
No, that's full access.
All right. Any other questions? Comments? All right. Then I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? Did you have some?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Just getting ready to vote.
All right. Roll call, please.
Small here.
Yes.
Albrecht.
No.
Campbell.
Yes.
Vorse.
Yes.
Roach.
Yes.
All right, so this will move to city council on November 20th.
All right. Thank you. And then any updates on the monthly report?
Yeah, so just it's attached there for you to review, and yeah, staying pretty active on solar permits. So those are classified under electrical permits. So if you have noticed, those have gone out of control here over the last about 6 months. So.
Wow. All right. Any questions on the report from the committee? Nope. All right, then I would move to public comment. Any additional public comments? Is there anybody online?
Chief White has his hand raised, but I think he's just waiting.
Just waiting, okay. He's already eager for the next meeting.
He has plenty of chances to talk.
All right. All right, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Public safety at 6.
Brad, can you hear us? Brad, check. Mic check.
All right, we'll call the public safety meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Vorse.
Here.
Councilmember Van Hook.
Here.
Councilmember Latz.
Here.
Councilmember Rosenberg.
Present.
Councilmember Phoney.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a copy of the minutes. Can we get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. All right, we got an amendment to the fiscal year '24 budget and transfer from reserves to allow for the purchase of a fire truck.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead. Fire Chief Brad White is on Zoom, and I'm going to let him speak about how this came to fruition and what we want to do moving forward with this fiscal year budget. Brad, are you available?
Yep, yeah, I am, thanks. Yeah, so hello from Champaign. So we had kind of a unexpected turn of events. We we're given the opportunity to purchase a new engine this year, which we passed on when that came in at $1 million. A couple weeks ago, we had a medium-sized rescue show up on our doorstep, literally being driven in by one of the vendors. There was a Department of Missouri that purchased a truck for $688,000. Some changes of leadership occurred. They backed out of the truck. Now they're trying to get out from the payments at $580,000. This would be the replacement that is in our capital plan for 2 years from now, which is that 47-foot long heavy rescue that we budgeted around $1 million to replace 2 years from now. Potentially have the opportunity to purchase this one for $580, but in looking at it, we are going to have to make some changes to make it work for us. It'll probably still come in at $600,000, which is still a pretty good savings. And then here I am again. We may actually just not go with this truck altogether. So we've been looking at it. It'll come in around $600,000, but wanting to do the right thing again, we reached out to several other vendors, and where we found that the traditional fire engines that carry the water and put out the fires, those are going for $1 million. These rolling toolboxes are far less. There's less, pumps and plumbing and all that stuff. So we've got a couple other vendors. When we told them we were looking at a truck for $580, have sent us some specs and have some options that are more in keeping what we typically do, that we may actually be able to get a truck for even less than that, for closer to about $500,000. So we had kind of drafted this resolution, maybe, with a mindset at the time, thinking that we were going to purchase this truck that's coming into us. But I kind of want to put a slow pause on that, maybe bring this back to you at our next meeting after we've looked at a few other options. Because again, I know money's tight on our end, and I want to do the right thing. I don't want to jump on an opportunity just because it appears to be a good value, when in fact, as we're starting to look at some other vendors, there's a bit more competition and far more reasonable prices on these rescue trucks. So I don't want to get ahead of the game on this. So so we brought this to you tonight, but I kind of want to put a pause on it and maybe bring it back to you at one of our next meetings when we have a better understanding of what the money really looks like.
All right, thank you, Chief White. Any questions or discussion for him? Okay. All right, we'll move on to other business.
Do we need a motion to table it or anything? Nope.
I would probably, I don't know, I would probably say no. Because we'll end up rewriting it to be more specific. I really do think that the way these other vendors are looking at things, we actually can get that truck that we anticipated 2 years from now to be $1 million for probably about half that. Even less than what we're being looked at, what we're physically looking at right now, that really doesn't meet our needs, but sounded like a good deal up front.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
Other business. The only thing really on the agenda is a capital improvement plan. And if you look right now, we've got the fire department has just a replacement of a command vehicle, and then that replacement of that heavy rescue apparatus. But as we've been talking, and that's in FY26, but as we've been talking tonight, that those things can change. If you've noticed anything in the last few months with fire trucks and engines and apparatus, they have just drastically gone up in price, and so it's kind of a moving target right now. When we look at EMS, we are set to replace one of the quick response vehicles in FY25, and then just on a regular schedule for a couple of our ambulances in FY26 and FY29. Those ambulances that were generally costing us about $300,000 a few years ago are going the same way as the fire trucks, and we're looking at closer to $350,000. We're actually looking at potentially ordering one sometime soon for delivery in fiscal year of 26. We're starting that bid out process right now. And then police, realistically, FY25 is the HVAC and the building roof replacement, which was already talked about ad nauseum. And then really just patrol car replacements, CID administration vehicle replacements. We have something we need to upgrade our police booking area cameras in our police booking, our They're about 18 years old now, so we need to update those to get a better picture and sound and audio and video quality there. So that's something we're looking at in FY25. And then the other two things is FY26, replacement of body-worn cameras. Those are about 5 to 6 years. We're about 3 years now, but by the time we get around to FY26, it'll be 5 and 6 years. We're already noticing a slight degradation in the battery life on the body cameras. So we'll start to replace them a few at a time, but we may have to replace a large number of them at that time. They run about $900 a piece. And then our in-car cameras in 2028. And generally those might last a little longer, but generally those are on a 5 to 6 year replacement cycle. So any questions? Then all we have is the public safety reports that were provided. I think we went ahead and added fires the last few months, and then our quarterly report that ended at the end of September. So unless there's any questions.
Jerry's going.
Yes.
On the CIP, did you, you had $1.5 million in there for heavy rescue, and I understand that, and I commend you folks for looking at getting something cheaper than that, and you've always done that. I mean, it amazes me how you guys have saved money by looking at demos and things like that. But does this vehicle meet your requirement? What's the difference between, I mean, is there some kinds of jobs that this one won't meet, that the other one that you had budgeted, the heavy one would? And is that a problem?
No, our plan is that the current truck we have is 47 feet long, which has become too big really for our roadways and the congestion we have. Most of the trucks, like the demo model we're looking at, come in about 30 to 35 feet. The current truck that we're looking at that was dropped off to us to try out, for the most part, it meets our needs. Our current truck seats 6 firefighters. The biggest challenge would be the new truck only has a 2-seat cab to it. It's a commercial Peterbilt chassis and cab. So it would take a little adjusting on, just how we would get trucks out the door. We'd have to roll more trucks. The department that designed the truck, designed it to fit their equipment and their things. So we would have to take some of the shelving out, replace it with different shelves. And a lot of these shelves roll out of the truck and then tilt so we can get heavier objects on and off them safely. Some of these shelves are over 6 feet tall. So when we go in and change all those around in this current truck, we're probably adding another $15,000 to $20,000 in parts and pieces just to make it workable for us. So I think we could make it work. We would save some money. However, I still think, having talked to these other vendors now and understanding where the market is on these rescue trucks, that we could design one specifically to meet our needs. A 4-seater cab would be preferred, and then still come in closer to $500,000 to $550,000, even cheaper than what we're looking at right now with this Peterbilt truck.
Yeah, my concern was to save the money. We don't want to give away mission requirements.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. So the truck we have now, there are things on that truck that haven't been touched and come off that truck in 15 years. So most of that truck was designed right after post 9/11, with all the big money was out there, and it was outfitted for pretty much every type of specialty rescue. We still have plans to keep a lot of that equipment. We would just not put it onto the truck. We may, put it onto one of our trailers that we have, and then we've also talked about, downsizing and at some point and getting a second smaller rescue, like an F-350 with a toolbox on the back of it, so that we're rolling a rather inexpensive truck to, our $10 accidents and not taking a $500,000 truck out to sweep up glass at a car accident. So we're still trying to kind of change a little bit how we look at our responses and where we can continue to save money and time on our volunteers. It doesn't make a lot of sense to roll like the 47-foot truck we take out to a car accident now when we get there and all we do is sweep up some glass and walk away. So we're just trying to come up with other ways of getting that equipment out in a timely fashion, and then also saving cost and downsizing at the same time.
You're going to keep the current one, right?
No, so our plan would be to sell the big one. Its retail value is somewhere between about 200 to 300,000. It's kind of a steal of a deal for somebody, unfortunately. The downside is there's really not a lot of departments looking at that 47-foot long truck. Even some of the years past, when different departments in different areas would buy a single truck collectively to put all the rescue equipment on. Our challenge is we have that 10-foot command space in there, which is really a unique item, and it's going to be a very unique department that's going to want to purchase that truck from us.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Chief? That's okay. All right, we'll open up for public comments. Nothing online? All right, no public comments. We'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Third. All in favor, say aye. 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 We are adjourned.